First Originator Backpack Forum series in political debate discussion. We are having a mock election on the Originator team here at Manchester Middle School. And we will ask a series of questions, and the format will be covering 7 different areas of national importance. Neither the candidates nor the audience know the sequence or the order, and the candidates will have an opportunity to answer these questions. The candidates from the other teams, the other parties, have also had the opportunity to partake in this. They're in the same position of not knowing the nature of the questions, just the general areas or issues that they're from. So we will begin today. We welcome everybody out there watching. The format is as follows. Okay? Please state your names and political parties that you represent in this mock election.
I am Josh Borick, and I represent the Dim Robocats.
And I'm Kieran Raphael, and I'm also for the Dim Robocats.
Now that you've been introduced, I'd like to begin by asking you the question about which the American electorate has stated is the most important in this last election, and that would be the economy. What do you feel is the major cause of the economic crisis that engulfs America today?
I feel some of it is everyone investing a lot in stocks. Some of it, and we need to lower the taxes for the middle class. And then also maybe give people with jobs rebates and hope that they can spend that into the economy to get more money in circulation.
Not to mention, a lot of people have been buying things that they can't afford through credit and then losing it, in which case, so then the builders, suppose it was a house, then the builders would have to resell the house, slowing down the housing market, or sorry.
The housing market.
Yeah.
All right, how do you plan to deal with these problems?
Well, we would lower taxes for the middle class, like I said, and like I said again, at the end of each year, for people who are working, we give them rebates at the end of the year and hope that they invest some of that money into the economy.
How would you raise the revenues to give these people rebates?
For example, if you use solar energy, we could give tax rebates to increase spending, and you would lessen the cost for electricity and things because you would have solar power.
But in returning to my question of how would you pay for giving rebates? Because when you give a rebate, you basically are excusing people from paying or giving them some money back in their taxes. Okay? With that diminished tax revenue, how will you pay for some of these other investments? How would you pay for the government's operation?
Well, one of our plans is to take out the soldiers in Iraq and end the war in Iraq, which I think would free up a lot of government spending and help increase our yearly budget.
Okay. Let's turn to education. What do you feel is the greatest problem in today's education, and how shall you address it?
Well, it seems today many people just don't care much about their grades. And I think one thing is to make college less expensive. So, because many families can't attend college because of the money problem.
How will you make college less expensive? How can you do that? What would you do?
Well, we were planning to increase taxes on things such as tobacco and alcohol in order to get more school funding and hopefully lessen the cost to go to school, like, for example, go to college, and also get more books and better facilities for younger schools.
So you would help people go to college by giving them money to go to the college of their choice, right?
Yes.
Does that mean you support school vouchers?
Yes.
So you think that parents at the middle and elementary or K through 12 should also have some money and be free to take their child to the school of their choice and help pay tuition with that money?
As long as the children, or as the child has, satisfactory grades to be welcomed into that school.
Well, where would we get the money for these vouchers? How would you raise money for these vouchers?
Increasing taxes on things such as tobacco and alcohol.
Cigarettes.
Okay, and if nobody smoked or nobody drank, what would happen to the revenue then?
I
Where
don't
would the
think
revenue
that
come
would be a
from?
problem. Because the people that are already addicted to alcohol and tobacco, well, it's proven that if your parents drink or smoke, then you're more likely to smoke. So I think that if we increase the taxes, we'll continue to get money from that.
Okay. The rising cost of energy has had an impact on virtually every item in our daily lives, increasing costs of everything from food to clothes to entertainment to medicines. How do you plan to reduce the cost of energy in the immediate future, and what forms of energy do you favor using in order to reduce our dependence on foreign oil?
Well, starting with cars, we use a lot of oil, and we were planning on drilling more in America domestically instead of getting it from foreign countries, and also using things like ethanol and possibly even hydrogen in cars.
And for example, as stated before, we could give tax rebates to, suppose, big businesses if they convert to solar power.
Okay, your energy needs seem to reflect an interest in preserving the environment. So turning to environment, what is your position on global warming and whether or not human activity is responsible for it?
Human activity is partly responsible for global warming with all the factories and smoke and unhealthy things going into the air, cars and whatnot. It's damaging the environment and the ozone layer.
Well, can the human activity have any measurable impact on reducing global warming?
Yeah.
Or are natural forces more significant? Do they have a bigger role?
Yes, I believe human impact could, if we cut down on CO2 emissions from cars and factories, I think that would very much help global warming and stop it.
Well, so then what changes are required for this to happen? So
Well,
how would you do this? We
one-
already have laws on the books in reducing emissions from vehicles. What would you propose that we do to continue this or address this or increase our impact?
Well, with factories, a lot of the coal we are burning is not very clean, so we would start burning more clean coal, and that wouldn't harm the environment as much.
How do you feel about nuclear energy?
Nuclear energy in the future could definitely be a resource for cleaner fuel. I support the research of nuclear energy.
Okay. Let's talk about immigration. Currently, it's estimated that between 12 and 20 million illegal or undocumented aliens are in the United States. What problems does their presence create, and how do you plan to deal with these problems?
Well, they are taking up a lot of our jobs, and they're also sending home a lot of money. I think it said 9.2 million a year was the average that illegal immigrants were sending home. So we plan to fortify the borders and try and keep illegal immigrants out in order to open up jobs and keep more money in the United States, hopefully helping and fixing the economy.
Okay. Turning to foreign policy, describe your policy on, I'm going to mention several issues here. What would your foreign policy be concerning the global war on terror, and do you feel that the war in Iraq is part of that, the threat of Islamic extremism, the war in Afghanistan, threat of nuclear Iran? Do you see them as separate, as together, and